Just a quick note, I think New Braj is one of the places where the best preaching has gone on since 1996, 2021, 25 years annual festivals. We would have 1,000 devotees come for the weekends. Something that's very difficult to do in places where you don't have a lot of land and things like that. And you see all the devotees that have come to New Braj festivals with Gurudev. So the preaching is continuing these festivals. They have Anukud festival, Rath Yatra festivals. The main thing is the main annual festival, and probably thousands of devotees have gone through that, and so many people have become connected, and through that Harikatha. Gurudev would say the Harikatha there that occurred would be remembered for thousands of years. So what is the better place? Like Sukadev Goswami spoke for 7 days to Parikshit Maharaj. The effect of that preaching of the Bhagavatam for 7 days is continuing to be seen right now. The Srimad Bhagavatam. So Gurudev's Katha there is likewise so important. So, Ajnanatimidandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Pancha Kalpatrubhishta Kripa Sindhuve Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Bo. First thanking Sringa Prabhu for inviting Prem and I, and Nidhi Prabhu. He invited us, and then I was, so busy, I don't know if we can come. And then again they invited, and I said, okay, I'll ask. And instruction came to come, so we're very happy in coming here, very happy to be with you all, to have this festival, Centennial Festival honoring our beloved Srila Gurudev. I'll just speak a few minutes about, I was just thinking what to speak about, and I'm looking in front of me, there's this beautiful book of Srila Gurudev's called Harmony. The first publication I served on was Rays of the Harmonist. So it's also connected to this conception of transcendent harmony. And so I want to speak a little bit about that with the preaching that we're trying to do. How we can align that to a way of serving together, honoring each other's own shiksha and diksha lines, Bhagavat lines and Sampradayak lines, with the proper understanding of our place and our roles and our connection and our purposes. So I just wanted to start with a few minutes, what is Sanatan Dharma? The boiled down essence of Sanatan Dharma, the eternal way, it's the medium for the soul to make spiritual connection to God or Krishna through Guru. And through the process of Bhakti-yoga, Bhakti-yoga means Bhajatadviti Sevaya, transcendental devotional service with the proper mood. So the idea is that Guru and Krishna are eternal principles, and Sanatan Dharma is also therefore eternal. So when we establish preaching organizations, it's important to remember that these are merely representations in this world of the eternal schema, the eternal way that is Sanatan Dharma, and the Vyas line, Vyasa Parampara. Vyas means Guru is one, or Vyas, who connects like the diameter, one point to the other side. And so Vyasa is described to be that connecting line, like a bridge between the material and the spiritual worlds. That is Guru. And Guru and Krishna are eternal. So what we are doing now in our small efforts are to serve that eternal line. So a little bit of our background, Prem and I, for different amounts of time, but since I was, the last 16 years living in India in ashrams, Mathura, Keshwati Gaudiya Math, and in Vrindavan, trying to serve there as brahmacharis. That was the instruction I received from my Gurudev since I was 9 years old. I went with my parents and my father to Kartik Brajmandal Parikrama. When I was 9, received initiation. And when I was 10, I received Diksha, dominical initiation. And every time he would see me, he would tell me, I want you to grow up to be a brahmachari and serve my mission. So for me, that kind of purpose was with me since my very childhood. And so it was a lifetime of preparation
internally, because, a mood of commitment and sacrifice has to develop. Because if you're going to be a brahmachari serving your guru's mission, you have to be ready to weed out distractions or different paths that you may be intrigued to kind of discover. So there was a need for a mood of sacrifice to develop, and realizing that when we make our desires one with our guru's desire, we come into perfect alignment or harmony and achieve full self-fulfillment. So our particular organization we have created is in that understanding that it's merely a semblance or a representation or vehicle for serving that transcendental thing. And so we don't develop the false ego of, I am a director, I am a trustee, I'm a president, I am controlling this thing. The proper understanding is that I am a mere small particle of consciousness serving the supreme conscious entity, Krishna, and serving Guru, who is also transcendental. I feel this is very important, and it's a way for us to develop a mood of harmony, because we see the grand scope of things then. We're all part of that tree of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mission and line. And so we can all serve as different branches, right? In harmony, honoring and respecting each other. And this is the principle of unity and diversity. And that's the principle Mahaprabhu taught, Achintya Beda Beda Tattva. Understanding, ultimately, we are united. Even though there are some particularities of manners, how we are going about. We have many gurus here in our festival represented. And so each disciple's duty is to approach Guru and request, how may I be of service? When you take initiation, the mantra is Tad Vigyanartham Saguruma Vivek. Not the initiation mantra, but the conception. The Upanishadic Vedic conception of initiation is, how do you go about that? Tad Vigyanartham Evam Abhigachit Samitpani Shrotyam Brahmanishtam. Offering the firewood of sacrifice. In other words, sacrificing yourself to the cause of your Guru. How may I serve you? Then we can come into this Vyas Parampara line, and this is the best way to become connected and to enter the spirit realm and leave the material realm. So I feel this is very important. Now, that's why in our I believe it's very important that in the culture of the organization, with the managers, with the leaders, to help inculcate this idea that we are just small servants of this great transcendental system for taking souls from a material existence to spiritual consciousness, helping people blossom into pure consciousness. And so we are merely small servants of that transcendent thing. Srila Gurudev and Nubraj would say, Brahma, Prahlad Maharaj, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu are good standing members of ISKCON. Because ISKCON is transcendental. The transcendental organization or society, group of people helping the conditioned souls come closer to their true spiritual nature. So that's what we're trying to establish in the culture of the organization, because you have to deal with material systems, because we're living in a material realm. So through governance, through trust, through entities. So now getting to the specific point, after living for 16 years, 16 years, trying to follow the order of my Gurudev, Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj, to be a brahmachari, to live in the mat and serve in different ways, in publications, and helping during arranging festivals. Our main activity in the mat is arranging for festivals, having Harikatha Kirtan daily festivals, and then monthly, bi-monthly, annually, semi-annually, large festivals, and then day-to-day activities, preaching. So that's what we're trying to do, but last year I was sent with Prem Pradeep Brahmachari to start an ashram in the US. So we established a ashram in New York. It's about an hour and a half from the Bronx. So there's many wonderful devotees there that we've come to meet in the Bronx, in Brooklyn, in Manhattan, in Queens, all the different boroughs. So in order to establish, to have land that you can, kind of own in the name of your Guru, we established it in the name of our Gurudev, the title of our Gurudev, and I'll get into that in a moment. From there, being able to go out and preach, Sankirtan. You know, we've been doing Sankirtans in Central Park and in Thompson Square Park, Washington Union Square, and so forth. And then going to all, you know, we're 20 minutes from Woodstock and all these beautiful towns up there where people are actually spiritual seekers. It's very interesting. The area in New York Times, it called it the Bhajan Belt. Because there's so many ashrams there. 10 minutes from us, Shivananda Yoga Ashram. 5 minutes from us, beautiful ashram, flowering sun. 50 people living there, not following bhakti, but pure vegetarian. And I'm going back there 29th, I'm catering for a wedding for 100 of these people. And they want to come visit our ashram. So there's actually like Thich Nhat Hanh, his ashram is 20 minutes from us. There's dozens of ashrams all around that area. So it's a very interesting, in the Northeast, there's a very interesting kind of spiritual vibe. So we're in that area, we have 60 acres, 4 houses and 1 large building that we're converting into a temple. As we speak, there's like 10 workers right now on the property, putting in I-beams. Like we bought 30-foot I-beams to prop up the building, to stabilize it. It was stable, but to reinforce it so we can have 100 people dancing in it. You know, it's like an older building. So we're like, okay, we're gonna have 100, 200 people dancing in this building. Let's fortify it with steel structure, you know? So we put in all these I-beams and then weld them all together and cement and rebar blocks. So that's going on right now. I just had a call 20 minutes ago with all the crew, all the different devotees, and just working tirelessly. So the first point I was making is that understanding that we're serving the transcendental entity. We're not serving a mundane bureaucracy. This is something I think is very important. Because otherwise false ego, oh, I don't want to, oh, that guy's the leader, that guy's in charge. We're all just servants. Britya, Britya, Pariharaka, Britya, 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 Siti, Mangsmara, Lokanatha. We're just small servants of the servants. Serving the transcendental entity. And so the idea at the top of the organization is that. And when we're in that consciousness, then why did Gurudev say Lord Brahma is a member of ISKCON? Because it's a transcendental sampradaya, an eternal way or sanatana dharma. And then there are material systems you establish that have their place, and you have to show proper honor. But don't become of this false ego. I am doing everything. Because unless we're Mahabhagavad pure devotee, there's still some remnant of Maya, Anartha. So we have to purify that gradually by a mode of service. So we have that 60 acres we're developing. We're having a temple. We have a temple there, 4 houses, 15 bedrooms. There's a beautiful creek running throughout. We have 60 acres, 2 sides of the road. So it's a perfect place for large festivals. You know, the lawn area is like 15 acres. And we're clearing on the other side. There's a plateau, about probably 10-acre plateau, maybe even 20 acres, something large. And we're going to clear a lot of the area and build there as well. Beautiful creek running down below it into a beautiful 60-acre lake right next to it. So it's a very beautiful area, but our conception is that we're not going there to kind of just chill out in a beautiful area. The idea is, okay, that can be useful. People may want to come there and have festivals, good. And then brahmacharis, we can go and preach, good. We can have a food truck and distribute prasadam. Our idea is one of the things we want to do is have a food truck where you hear ice cream trucks going around and they have their jingle. So we want to have our prasad truck and you hear, Hare Krishna, Prabhupada singing. Govinda Damodara Madhaveti, Gurudev singing. And people hear this jingle, oh, prasadam is there. And if we can, give it free. Go through the towns, go through the villages, prasadam truck. Oh, free prasadam, the Hare Krishnas have come. So we are particularly a preaching mission. I think this is something very important I was talking about in the morning class the other day, is that I feel like the best way to make spiritual advancement is to understand that Krishna and Guru should be at the center of everything. And so my way of spiritual advancement is serving them. Cleaning the temple, washing the pots, cutting sabji, doing book publication, doing preaching. This is all seva. And the best type of seva, bhakti is rishikena, sevanam bhakti ruchite. And so sometimes before in the early days of, with ISKCON, with Srila Prabhupada, everyone's just doing seva non-stop and they're thinking, where's the time for spiritual advancement? But Prabhupada made the system, every morning 16 rounds. And this was the system that was in the Gaudiya Math originally with Bhaktisiddhanta Prabhupada. They would, after breakfast, no one would be in the mat till nighttime. Only the cook and the pujari would stay. Everyone else was out preaching. And many of the preachers would not come back for months. Bhakti Shira Goswami Maharaj, Bhakti Dait Madhav Goswami Maharaj. They would be gone for months, meeting with businessmen, going on the trains, going on the buses, and passing out the magazines. Those people who were not doing that were in the publication department, making daily newspaper, weekly periodicals, bi-weekly in 6 languages. In the 20s, they were doing that. And so the Vaishnavas tell me, like, nowadays all you have to do is type on a computer and push publish. It's so easy, but still you can't do it. So you should be enthusiastic in that regard. So for me, my Srila Gurudev, whenever I would see, doing his transcriptions, people would come. How can I serve you? He said, preach my mission. And so Nrsimha Prabhu is stepping up in that regard, and it's wonderful. And other devotees. And so as we can build a network of ashrams and mandirs and temples, they can all serve together in harmony without feeling like we're stepping on each other's toes, because we're all serving the same transcendental thing in different ways. And so, Achintya Veda Veda Tattva. So just to cover in 2 minutes the particulars, why we are doing it in the way we are, with the name we are. Our Gurudev was given the title Bhakta Bandhav in 1946 by Param Gurudev. When he took initiation, he came in 1946. In 47, he was given this title. This title is spoken by Krishna originally. It's in the Hari Bhakti Vilas, and it's in other granthas, where Krishna speaks to Arjuna. And some of the most famous verses we know are in this same dialogue. This same dialogue where it says, Aham Bhakta Paradino. I am always subordinate to my devotees. I'm completely sold to my devotees. This same mood is there. So Krishna says 2 important verses to Arjuna. And this is where we take our sastric or siddhantic heritage from. The roots of what we're doing is based on this conception that is transcendental. And so I'll explain that. Krishna says, Ashmakam bandhava bhakta bhaktanam bandhava vayam. I am the dearmost friend of my devotees, and the devotees are my dearmost friends. Jagatam guruvo bhakta bhaktanam guruvo vayam. The devotees are the gurus of the whole world, and I am the guru of the devotees. This is Krishna's statement. So that's why I'm saying the idea of the organization is that Krishna and Guru are transcendental, and Guru manifests in many forms, but originally he is Lord Nityananda or Lord Baladev. And the true Bhakta, Vaishnav Matra Jagat Guru, the true Bhakta or Vaishnav, he is the Guru of the world. Whether he is initiating by Diksha or not. Sukadeva Goswami did not give Diksha initiation, but he gave the Bhagavatam, and that Bhagavatam is spreading all over the world, liberating everyone. So what we are doing is, the name of it is particularly the name of our title. It's a title, not the name. The title given to Gurudev, you can read this in the Acharya Keshari book. When he received initiation, he was given this title. It means someone who is the friend of all devotees, but really someone who is the friend of Krishna. Because they're the dearmost friend of Krishna, then they can be the friend of the devotees and everyone. And so the relationship has 2 sides. One side is they're the friend of the devotees. The other side is they're the benefactors of the whole world. Because that is Krishna's statement. They are the bandhav of Krishna. And Krishna is their bandhav or dearmost friend. Bandhav in Sanskrit means superlative friendship. In Sanskrit, there's bandhu or suhrit and bandhav. The superlative friendship that is binding, like Dam Bandhan Leela. Binding friendship. That's how strong it is. But Krishna, that's the first line. What is the second line? Jagatam Guru Vo Bhakta. The gurus of the world are the bhaktas. Meaning the well-wishers, like Swami Prabhupada and our Gurudev and our Acharyas. They are the well-wishers of the whole world, and they are therefore the teachers of the whole world, and Krishna is their guru, so they take instructions from him. That's why it's the whole parampara. Therefore, when we preach, we say, Bolo Krishna, Bhaja Krishna, Kori Krishna, Shiksha. We say, chant Krishna's names, worship Krishna, and spread Krishna's teachings. Then we are connected to the Sanatana Dharma. So that is our mission here. Particularly, what I was saying is that our sadhana is Guru Seva. Sarva sadhana mukyahi guru seva sadadrita yaya bhaktir bhagavati yancha sayat sukavaha. The best method of spiritual perfection, the achievement of spiritual perfection of all sadhanas, sarva sadhana mukyahi, the best is Guru Seva. Yancha sayat sukavaha. Very quickly, very easily, and very blissfully, you will achieve perfection through this. And so when you see the Vaishnavas come into the mud, from the original time of the Gaudiya Math to ISKCON time to the present day, when you join the Math, you enter into the mission of Guru and the mission of Seva. And then Seva is Harinam, every day chanting Harinam, 16 rounds or 64 rounds, doing archa, whatever Seva you may have. That is your number one sadhana. And if you have that conception, then the mission runs on very smoothly. And so sometimes people say, oh, going out doing books or doing this, I want to go home and just do my sadhana. That is your sadhana, because then you're putting Guru and Krishna in the center, not your own self. I need to sit and do pranayama, and sadhana, and meditation. You do that enough to make your body able to serve. And you do all the Harinam because that is your number one service to your Guru. And therefore, with the proper mood, you do your seva. So why do people ask? Because it's important to know, what is the dharma of the place we are in? And what I'm saying is that the dharma of our place, we've established 60 acres. It's for Guru Seva and it's for serving his mission. And with every ounce of our blood, because in Kali Yuga our energy is limited, our intelligence is limited, we're quarrelsome, so it's very hard to accomplish things in Kali Yuga. Where they said it's very difficult. So therefore, when we wake up, every conscious thought and every endeavor with our energy that we have is only to serve Srila Gurudev in his mission. By chanting Harinam, by maintaining the purity, by serving in the ashram, and by preaching. Because that is what Gurudev came to do. Gurudev said, I have not come to the West to take money from you. I have not come here to receive anything from you. I've only come to collect your hearts for Krishna. So he's going out everywhere to broadcast this mission. So Mahaprabhu said, Prithiviti achechata nagaradi gram sarvatra prachar hoibe moranam. In every town and village of the world, my names will be sung. So it is our responsibility to serve that transcendental mission, not identifying ourselves as the controller, merely as the simple servant of the servant. So I'll end with that. That's why I'm saying that if you understand that it's transcendental, much beyond ourselves. I said in the morning class, I am but a speck, within an infinity of infinities. I am very small. This universe is great, and there are millions of these universes. Brahma had false ego. And so Krishna summoned him to Dwarka, and he came, and they said, which Brahma has come? Krishna wants to know. Which Brahma? I am Brahma, four-headed Brahma. Then they told Krishna, said, come inside. He saw millions of Brahmas paying obeisance to Krishna with their crowns, 10,000 heads, 1,000,000 heads, 100 heads. I am Brahma. I am so small. So when we have that understanding, I am a very small, insignificant servant. But if I am able to serve this mission of Mahaprabhu and Gurudev, then I become connected to that transcendental thing. I cross over samsara and enter the spiritual realm by every moment of my service. By being engaged in that Bhakti-yoga, at that moment we are in the spiritual world in one sense. Because Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, Tatashta Shakti means being in the middle line between matter and spirit. And when we're doing Bhakti-yoga, service to our Guru, at that moment we're living in spirit. So thank you so much, Nrsimha Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
How can devotee supporter be involved?
So it's a big project. That's why I'm saying it's Guru Seva is the essence. So we're building temples, we're building cabins, because we want to host festivals where people are comfortable and we can have, even we're most likely, we're not announcing it officially because we're getting everything ready. Thakurji is going to be coming. We're building the temple. So every day we're, so if you can help by body, mind, or words, or any kind of energy, I haven't set it up, but someone wants to help me set up a crypto wallet. Donate crypto. We're building things, and prasadam truck. The best thing is, come and visit, like Jagavinda was saying, and see the mood there. The mood there is from can't see to can't see. Should be engaged in Guru Seva. Means from sun up to sundown. Somehow engaged in Guru Seva, cooking, cleaning, preaching, book distribution, publication, Harinam, Kirtan. All these things are vital. Why doing Kirtan? The main anga of bhakti is Kirtanam in this age. So Kirtan means broadcasting through the Srihat Mridanga, through media in all these ways, and it means doing the essence. We're doing broadcasting work of Kirtan so that we can bring people to do Kirtan. So they go together. If we don't preach about Kirtan, so doing Kirtan festivals, being involved like that, but particularly, if you want to come visit or if you want to donate, we have our official non-profit, 501c3 we set up, and we're doing things properly, the proper way, but with the proper understanding. Because otherwise, in the missionary sense of zeal of things, it's easy to get this kind of false ego developed. That's why I feel it's very important to always to establish the culture, that the grand picture of things. And we are very small, insignificant servants of that very transcendental thing. Because in every universe, Krishna is appearing in every microsecond. And he is performing his transcendental mission. So we are just serving in one of those little places. Hare Krishna.
Shramani Didi, she likes to tell this katha about Krishna appears in one universe, and the second of that universe is the first second in the next universe. And then like this, she's giving 10-minute progression. How many seconds Krishna is appearing. I'm actually going to Bhaktivinoda in June to visit, and I'm also going to Badger. So everyone is welcome. Could people come when I'm there in June? Few days?
Yeah, I mean, right, we're having on May 20, like literally May 21st, the day after I get back, we're having a festival, about 60 people coming to inaugurate our Gurudev's Murti. So we built this Murti, Prem Pradeep Prabhu and other devotees literally built Gurudev from scratch. It took a month. Every, like the fingers, the toes, the head, learning it all from scratch, and just kind of like, the idea is jumping into the deep end with faith. Me and Prem, I've never lived in the world in a sense, because I grew up serving in the gallery and helping my father and the farm. And then as soon as I graduated, I never had a regular job, just went straight to India, and 16 years been there. So it's kind of like sink or swim environment, in New York City trying to preach. So the way we're doing it is just jump in. Okay, we need to make Gurudev Murti, let's just do it. So we finished Gurudev's Murti, and now we're establishing him on the 21st. We're having a festival for 4 days. Then we'll have another first festival and another festival. We're planning a large festival in August and September. So at that time, I think the easy way to be connected is after we talk, if you want, I'm setting up like a Telegram group, and, we'll have kind of discussion forum and also, notifications of what's going on and how to be involved. But, we're setting it up to host and have festivals and then have satellite preaching going on around it. So eventually, establishing a center in New York City, and then from there having kind of symbiotic relationship and having festivals all around and connecting to all the other preaching centers. So, Hare Krishna.
Yeah, Srila Prabhupada envisioned that their farm community is working with the city temples in conjunction. And we see, although the collaboration is not there, but in ISKCON in New Orleans and Mississippi, they have temple about 1 hour apart, New Taliban, and then the New Orleans temple. And Srila Prabhupada named the deities the same name, Radha Radhakanta. And he said that you should serve like these are non-different deities. You're in the city, you're in the farm, it's the same deity. He said like that. So it's a nice mood to establish what they're doing. They'll be able to supply organic produce, ahimsa, paneer, everything to a preaching center in New York City. And so then the collaboration is there.
Gurudev really liked peacocks, so Danny the is going to buy peacocks. Anybody wants to help, anything like that. We're establishing mainly this 60 acres is going to be a beautiful festival site. And, farming, gardening, we already established like 600, 700, different organic plants and things like that. But it's going to be a beautiful festival site. So, arbors of wisteria, anything that can develop stimulus towards Braj, that's kind of the mood. But, we don't want to we want to establish that so that new people can come and experience the beauty of Bhakti, Braj Bhakti particularly. And then we are out traveling, preaching, like in the old days. That's why we came to New York, because the Vaishnavas, were living in Vrindavan for many years. They said, go now. For 3 months they were telling us to go, and we're thinking, oh, can we go like maybe 10 years later when we're ready. I said, no, you go now, because you need so much energy to do it. There's so much to do, so you must go now. Don't wait. And then we're discussing where to go in America. And we said, let's go to New York, because that's where Srila Prabhupada went and started. And so we need to take shelter of Srila Prabhupada and pray to him for the energy required to serve our Gurudev. And that's why the first personality who came to our ashram was Srila Prabhupada. When we had our opening, he was shipped from, like the same time he came before, he was shipped from India to America. In about 5-6 days he arrived, and we first worshipped Prabhupada there. And then Srila Bhagavan Maharaj brought a Prabhupada Murti also. So we have 2 Prabhupada Murtis there. And then we built Gurudev, because first Prabhupada came, then Gurudev came. So we have 2 acharyas.
He was there. He came from Badger.
Actually, that's true, thank you. Gurudev came, and they were both there together. It's true. Our first Murti has been staying there the whole time, but Srila Gurudev came, and then we've been building Srila Gurudev as well. But the point is, we have 2 acharyas in our line. We have our whole parampara, but our 2 main acharyas, Srila Gurudev and Srila Prabhupada, and under their shelter and under their teachings and instructions, we are continuing to serve and preach and be connected to the whole parampara and to honor all Vaishnavas and all Gurus.
And this is the mood that we're trying to cultivate in general. We actually have an example there in Syracuse of one devotee who's ISKCON devotee, who's a disciple of Sripad Radhanath Swami, Keshava Gopal Prabhu, and he brought his Gaur Nitai to the opening, and now they're also resting there for a few weeks. They're staying there.
Yeah, they've been there, so they like to come and visit and do the
So he brought his Gaur Nitai Murtis, and they're visiting Bhaktabandhav Dham. So there's this collaboration mood, and so it starts with being able to not forget, but forgive and move beyond the past. And then you can open a platform that love and affection can blossom.
Yeah, one quick point on that is like, we're very, I don't want to personally, I hope, in my life, I don't have to put energy into quarrel and fights between devotees. That's why we want an atmosphere. We have festivals, free of Vaishnava Parad, free of this mentality of always, looking at faults in others. And, everyone doing their best, hopefully, in different ways, but we don't consider ourselves like we are not under the organization ISKCON, we're not under the organization Gaudiya Math, but ISKCON is our big brother and Gaudiya Math is like our father. And we have utmost regard for both. That's why our ashram is not called Gaudiya Math, it's not called ISKCON. But we understand the eternal Sampradaya, and that's non-different from ISKCON and non-different from the Gaudiya Math. Because it's a transcendental Sanatana Dharma. And so really, our mood is, we feel like there should be affection because we're like the little boy, the little brother. And so we invite our big brothers to come, we invite our parents to come, all the different sannyasis and Vaishnavas, and we have festivals. And we follow this principle of, there's no need, like you said, the past is the past, don't live in the past. Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, forget the past that sleeps and never the future dream at all, but act in times that are with thee and progress thee shall call. So that is one of our mantras, you could say. We want to perform service joyfully. Joyfully perform service is one of our mantras at the ashram. Serve hard, pray hard. And the other one, Dani knows this one. Crush it like a rasagula. Every day we wake up and at the end we say, did you crush it today? Like a rasagula. Because Padam Gurudev gave an example. When Gurudev was joining them, I said, how are you always engaged in seva? Constantly, from morning to evening. Working, programs, kirtan, seva. He said, because you become very soft and empowered by Radharani, Priya Shakti, by always engaging in service, it's like taking paneer and pasting it, and then you can make balls and cook it and make juicy rasgullas. So by the act of seva, with the right mood under guidance, you can become very juicy and full of energy. Hare Krishna.
Hari Bol. Thank you so much for